Deshaun Watson is QB1, how he won the job, and what is next now for Shedeur Sanders in Cleveland. We have that story. Plus, Fernando Mendoza is QB2 for now in Vegas. Can Ty Simpson win the same job in LA? And how does Carnell Tate look in Nashville? We are handing out rookie report cards because it is time to go back to school. And it is the final countdown. Bucky Brooks tells you who should be number one in the top 100. It is now on the NFL Report. This is going to be fun. I promise you, we are going to have fun. Welcome to a brand new show. This is the NFL Report. We are here at 7 p.m. Eastern Time every single day on this. This is the NFL channel, free streaming in your smart TV. We are also on YouTube, and because it's 2026, we are also a podcast, so you can listen to or watch this show whenever you want to later, wherever you get your podcasts. My name is Andrew Siciliano in the transfer portal, and happy to be back with you, and thrilled that you are here with us. We have any and everything you need to know about the National Football League. Again, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday. Here is what is news to me. Let's call it that. Our latest headlines, and we begin in Cleveland, where Deshaun Watson is QB1. Todd Monken made that call Monday morning after saying yesterday that he would not factor Watson's Saturday postgame comments about getting booed into his decision.
There's a number of things I'm not going to get into, but ultimately we felt over the course of training camp and the offseason that he was ahead of Shedeur. Shedeur's closed that gap, for sure, and that's a credit to him. And we look forward to, again, Shedeur continuing to grow as a player, but ultimately we're about week one.
First off, I want to address the comments from Saturday after the game. I think just, human nature, just myself being very emotional, putting a lot of time these last 2 years to, get back and, spend time in this facility, in the city, meeting a lot of different people in the community. I thought I was going to get, a little different response, but, I think, my emotions got the best of me, and knowing that I have teammates in the locker room that support me, knowing that I have a coaching staff that support me, knowing that I have an organization that support me. All the other stuff got to take care of itself on the field. And now it's my job to be able to show that, I'm capable of putting points on the board and getting W's. And I think that, if we can do that, then I can earn the respect and loyalty to the rest of the fan base. And that's what I got to do. Because, again, it was a big investment, and we haven't got the product out of that investment just so far. And I have another shot, I have another chance. So I want to make sure I take full responsibility of this opportunity.
All right, we could probably do an hour on this story. Bucky Brooks, I promise you, we're only going to do like 3 or 4 minutes. By the way, great to see you here.
Yeah, it's no problem. Looking forward to it.
Thank you. It's good to be back. Bucky's my wingman today, as he will be a lot of the time. Deshaun Watson, Bucky, first regular season action when we see him week 1. We're both going to be there since week 7, 2024, the first torn Achilles. I think this is always the way we've been trending, but it's jarring for a lot of people to hear the announcement. Yes. What do you think?
Look, I think this is what the plan was always going to be, Deshaun Watson being the starting quarterback. Todd Monken wants a veteran. He wants someone that can get this team up and going, this offense up and going. And I think we have to be careful making too much of the preseason. The preseason is different than the regular season. The defenses, the people that you're facing, the game plans, all that is vanilla. Now we can get to building a game plan that's tailored specifically towards Deshaun Watson. And look, it's been a long time since he's played at their Pro Bowl level, but I know this. Todd Monken really stuck his neck out there by saying Deshaun Watson will be his quarterback. I think he's going to give number 4 the best chance to kind of get back to being that Pro Bowl player that we saw.
All right, you say long time. It's been since week 10, 2023.
Long time.
Since we saw him as a Pro Bowl player. That was the second half in Baltimore. They're down 3 scores. He goes 14-14 to the second half. Greg Newsome gets a pick 6. They win the game. And then he goes on IR later that week with an ankle and a shoulder. So it has been nearly 3 years since we saw that guy.
Look, it's been a long time, but sometimes we talk about an evaluation, fit in scheme. How does the player's talent fit within the scheme? And I believe that Deshaun Watson's talent fits very well within this scheme. We think about some of the air raid concepts, some of the spread concepts that he did really well, not only at Clemson, but for the Houston Texans when he was a multiple-time Pro Bowl and had 2 4,000-yard seasons. They want to get back to finding the best of Deshaun Watson. I think they'll do that. But also, the supporting cast is much better than the one that trotted out the last time that we saw him play. From the offensive line to the playmakers to the running game, all of this is better. Now it's about the play caller and the quarterback being on the same page.
Monken firmly believes that Deshaun Watson gives them the best chance to win. They are week 1 in Jacksonville, week 2 in Tampa, week 3 at home against Carolina. Shedeur Sanders for now is QB2. Now, Monken says that he told them both, Watson first and then Sanders second, in his office on Monday morning, and that he said Shedeur totally understood and that he had a smile on his face the entire time because Monken says he understands the long game. So what's next for Shedeur?
I think he continues to go to work.
You think he plays this year?
Absolutely. I think he has an opportunity to play either through performance or through an injury that provides him with an opportunity. Here's what we can say about Shedeur Sanders. He's made tremendous strides as a passer, throwing the ball more on time, more on target, understands how to have full command of this offense. He just wasn't able to wrestle the job away from Watson. And part of that is it's easier to start the veteran and then hand the keys to the offense to Shedeur Sanders. If you start Sanders and it goes awry, the energy is just different if Watson is coming off the bench. To me, Shedeur Sanders has to continue to do what he's done, focus on what he can control, preparation, be ready when his number is called, and when he gets that chance, just go and kill it.
Look, in year 10, there's no question Deshaun Watson is better operationally, getting out of the huddle, getting to the line, getting the play snap, play called, everything, than Shedeur. But Shedeur's getting closer, and the question is, will Deshaun's play be good enough to keep Shedeur on the bench? Because Shedeur outplayed him, there's no other way to say it, this past Saturday. And he had the first team and Deshaun had the third team, but you go the week before, it was the other way around. All right, Bucky, stay there. You could argue the only other real quarterback battle right now is in Atlanta. Michael Penix tagged into the ring today. He did his first 11-on-11 teamwork since last November's torn ACL. The Falcons wrap up the preseason Friday in Miami.
I'll talk through the playtime later in the week, Daniel, but we will play our starters in this game.
Is Mike included in that?
You know, I want to get through today. You know, obviously it's Mike's first time back out there. Excited for him, obviously, to do 11-on-11, but we'll work through that.
How hard is the curve to be from where he's been all offseason to being in 11-on-11 now? Like, what's the hardest part about that?
I think it's a good question for Mike to probably answer better than I could, other than to say, obviously, he's had a bunch of reps without the pass rush and the pocket and that type of thing. But I think he's more than eager to get out there and practice.
So that was Stefanski before Penix took the field on Monday. Back on the field on Sunday, Christian McCaffrey. He had not practiced in 2 weeks. McCaffrey says, by the way, his absence was in no way contract-related, as some had speculated. It was about maintenance and getting ready for the new season.
You know, obviously, when you don't practice, you know, the way the media works now is firestorm. But, you know, this was kind of part of the plan from the jump, was to ramp up pretty big, get 9-10 practices in, kind of come back down, and then ramp back up so we're fresh for the duration. So, you know, our staff's done a great job of kind of coming up with specific plans. And, you know, again, I feel great. So.
George Kittle on the field with him Sunday in Santa Clara, officially activated from the PUP list by the 49ers. Is he going to play in 16 days? That's how close we are. In Australia, no clue. No one wants to say. But this is the next step on a path to getting back on the field from a torn Achilles, which happened in the playoffs back in January. Meantime, in Vegas, the Raiders got a scare. Ashton Jeanty helped off the field with an ankle injury. And then the good news. Ian Rappaport, NFL Network insider, friend of the program, Ian Rappaport says it is not considered a long-term injury for the second-year running back out of Boise State. Also not considered long-term in Arizona for Jeremiah Love, but it's going to be another week without the rookie out of Notre Dame on the practice field. Mike LaFleur says Love won't practice either in Arizona this week nor in Green Bay. They're doing a joint practice Wednesday with the Packers. Love sprained his ankle in the Cardinals' preseason opener with a heavy workload. You thought Kayshon Boutte might get traded. Well, it finally did happen. The Texans called, and the Patriots said yes, Boutte to Houston for a 2028 seventh-round pick and a safety. Jalen Reed's in that deal. Remember, the Texans lost Jaden Higgins last week to a torn ACL. If you're watching the game last night, the Seahawks and the Titans in Nashville, you saw it early. This one's tough here. Bud Clark, the second-year safety out of TCU, maybe this year's Nick Eamon-Warrior in that Mike Macdonald defense, he's going to be gone for a long time. It is a broken ankle. Mike Macdonald didn't hide it when he went to the podium yesterday. He says, Macdonald does, that Clark is going to be out multiple months. 49ers owner Jed York was arrested over the weekend in East Palestine, Ohio. Court records show York pleaded no contest to misdemeanor charges of disorderly conduct and possessing criminal tools. He was released Monday after posting a $5,000 bond. The Niners with the following statement, quote, "As this is a legal matter which has been resolved, we will not be providing any further comment at this time." A league spokesman in New York says, quote, "We are aware of the matter which will be reviewed under the personal conduct policy." All right, we're just getting started here on the NFL Report. Coming up on our very first show, he was good week one, not so good week two. When is Fernando Mendoza going to take the stage in Vegas? Bucky Brooks back on the stage with that coming up. You're watching the brand new show, the NFL Report. Thank you for watching. Let's do some highlights here because I enjoy doing highlights. We go back to a primetime affair late last week, the Cowboys and the Cardinals. This was in Arizona, and this is Joe Milton. I mean, he is the king of preseason football. Jonathan Mingo, remember him, the former Panther? I'm sure you remember the trade if you're a Cowboy fan. That is a 53-yard touchdown, and it is 14-0. Fast forward into the second quarter. Milton on the run, finding preseason hero Camden Brown. Part of his issue in the draft process was the speed. He cannot make it to the end zone. Oh, he got lucky there. That did not go out the back of the end zone. It rolled backwards to the one. Camden Brown, 70 yards on that to set up the Joe Milton scramble. Joe Milton, a touchdown run, and the Cowboys take it to the Cardinals. Dallas wins in Arizona, 34-13. All right, that's part of the story. The score obviously means something here. But honestly, for my money, this was the best thing I saw this weekend. This is Shiaz Pete. He is the first member of the Navajo Nation, which is the largest Native American reservation in the United States, to sign and now play for an NFL team. Arizona, by the way, also has the largest Navajo population in the U.S. Check out the locker room.
Well, that was an incredible win. I am very fortunate to be amongst you and to play in the same field where the same star hold it on our chest. And I'm proud of us. I'm proud of how far we've come. Man, this game, fate brought us here as strangers, but this game, this star, this team will make us brothers. Yes, sir.
One, two, three, Cowboys! All right, I'm not crying, you're crying. I mean, that got me. That was the best speech. That was the best moment of preseason week two. Preseason week two ended with a Sunday night affair, Sunday Night Football, not on NBC but on Fox, but it was a game regardless, with the Seahawks and the Titans in Nashville. That is Elijah Arroyo from Drew Lock, a 36-yard touchdown, and the defending Super Bowl champions looked pretty good early. Cam Ward has not looked great, really, in the preseason, but Tony Pollard pads the stats here as he takes it downfield on the little check down. Ward has yet to complete a pass of beyond 7 air yards in the preseason, but hey, that was good. This is not good for the Tennessee run defense. Jeffrey Simmons on the field for this. It's not as if this was the second or third team. This is Jacardia Wright, a 69-yard touchdown. Titans win 19-16. The Bud Clark injury, really the big thing in this one. Not in any way good. All right, more highlights. Let's go to more primetime football. This is Friday, the Jets and the Steelers. This is in Pittsburgh, and this is Geno Smith. Geno looks low-key good so far. Remember Jelani Woods, the billboard-sized tight end from Virginia, the former Colt? There's a 13-yard touchdown. Geno 7 for 7 or something like that on this drive. Drew Aller looked great last week. Will Howard not so great this week. That is not Aaron Glenn sacking him, but it's the guy wearing his coach's old jersey, David Bailey, the number 2 overall pick. He gets a sack. And here is Will Howard getting picked off by Andre Sisco. Bucky loves him because he's a former Jaguar. I love him because he's a former Orange man. And the Jets beat the Steelers here 17-0. Preseason fun. It's always fun to check out Chad Reiter's rookie grades. We like handing out report cards because your kids are back in school this week. Find them on NFL.com. Here are some of your grades from week number 2. Austin Barber goes from tackle to guard, and he gets an A. Monroe Freeling gets an A. There are a lot of A's. There's some grades that are not so good. Last week, the number 1 overall pick, Fernando Mendoza, got a B+ from Chad. I thought he deserved an A. He's pretty good last week. However, not nearly as good when we saw him on Thursday night. He threw a pick 6 early on. Bucky Brooks back with me. The B+ night number 1. Bucky, I know you're not named Chad Reiter, but if I asked you to give a grade for the second week on the field for Fernando Mendoza, what do you think?
Oh, Fernando Mendoza, C's get degrees. So we'll give him a C. We'll give him a C+ if you want to. The performance was not up to standard in terms of what he displayed versus the Cardinals, and part of it is he's playing a much better defense. Tighter coverage on the outside. They challenged him to make tight window throws. He had a difficult time with that. His guys weren't uncovering. And then he had the pick 6. Ball was a little behind. Gave up a touchdown. So these are things where Fernando will continue to learn. He'll continue to learn how to throw with the anticipation and touch that he needs to against these better defenses. But right now, he's going to graduate. But he's not going to graduate with honor.
Yeah, no, real quick here. Clint Kubiak is playing coy. He keeps saying this is still a competition. It's going to be Kirk Cousins week.
Oh,
right?
100%. I mean, look, Tom Brady has been on multiple podcasts, broadcasts, talking about the developmental problem with quarterbacks. And so I cannot anticipate Fernando Mendoza being the starter right away. But maybe by the middle of the season, Fernando may get a little time.
Okay, week 1, his hometown team, it's the Dolphins coming to Vegas for whatever it's worth. Ty Simpson, by the way, week 1, also amazing for the Rams, 21-25. Week 2, a little bit different. He did not start. Stetson Bennett did. He played the second half, Simpson did, with the Rams, led him on 1 scoring drive. Right now, Sean McVay says the number 2 job is up in the air between Bennett and Simpson. You think Simpson's got a shot?
No, I think Stetson Bennett's going to get it. He's looked really, really good and comfortable running the offense. But I will say, Ty Simpson has been very, very impressive. Considering the lack of starts that he had as a collegiate, he looks like he understands the game. He knows exactly what he's doing within the system. And then the Rams make it easy. Sean McVay has been able to elevate every quarterback that he's touched. Ty Simpson looks like he's going to be the beneficiary of some of that magic. I like how he's progressing. I like how he's trending, but there's no need to rush him onto the field. I think we're talking about a year or 2 before we see Ty Simpson really play. But I think right now, position at QB3 is a nice spot for him.
All right, I know it is only the preseason, and the preseason is a liar. Week 1 is very often a liar. For everyone who thought that Ty Simpson was a third-round pick, what do you say now?
Well, look, I thought he was a second-round pick. I mean, we got to say.
But second-round picks can also look good in the preseason.
They can look good.
Okay.
Sean McVay makes him look really, really good. Now, Ty Simpson has always been the guy that looks like he's conducting a clinic when it comes from the pocket and the mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
The experience, the lack thereof, that was the biggest issue when it came to him. But in this offense, the way Sean McVay is doing it, yeah, he's going to look great.
All right, let's get back to last night's game. Should I be concerned, if I'm a Titans fan, that Carnell Tate has yet to catch a pass in 2 games?
No, you can't like that. Don't panic. It's fine. He'll be okay. I remember it might have been a few years ago. Jamar Chase was having a tough time in preseason.
He was dropping things.
Not getting targets, only had 1 catch. We thought about him being busted, and he just went on to be what he's become. Even Teteroy McMillan, last year only had 2 catches in the preseason. This is fine. This is kind of par for the course when you think about top 10 receivers not getting a lot of touches. Carnell Tate has been dazzling in practice. It hasn't carried over to the preseason game. But some of that is not him. Some of that is on his quarterback. They'll eventually get on the same page, and he'll put up the numbers that everyone expects down the line.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I am not ready to panic on Cam Ward. I'm not a Titans fan. I would never panic regardless. But when I tell you that he has yet to complete a pass over 7 air yards in 2 preseason games, new offense, Brian Daboll's there, right?
I mean,
like, show him some grace.
A little bit. But at some point, we got to have some completions. Those uniforms, you're not doing those uniforms justice. The uniforms are clean. We got to have some production.
I love those uniforms.
I mean, those are nice uniforms.
They pop. They're great.
Nice
you know why he
blue.
loves them, by the way? The Carolina blue.
I mean,
That's
they're
why.
different. They love you.
Right, I'm wearing the same thing. I mean, it's Bucky's a Tar Heel. Anyway, let's move on here. You're watching the NFL Report here, our inaugural show. We thank you for joining us. Coming up next, it's the final countdown, everybody. The top 100 has reached the top 10. Which of these guys is number 1? Maybe they're not number 1. Maybe some guy that plays defense in LA is number 1. Bucky tells you who it should be straight ahead. Hey friends, I got a deal for you. Get 20% off an NFL Plus annual plan with NFL Plus. Stream live, local, and primetime games on mobile with NFL Plus Premium. You get NFL RedZone. You can get game replays. You can get NFL Pro as well, which is cool. I use it all the time. Limited time offer. It ends September 21st. Sign up today at plus.nfl.com/radio. Terms and conditions apply because they always do. Okay? They always do. Let's do some quick hits, some other headlines we didn't get to you earlier in the show. We're going to begin in New York, where John Harbaugh, the new head coach of the Giants, says it's, quote, reasonable to assume, his words, end quote here, that Malik Nabers is going to play week 1. That is the caveat, barring an injury. Nabers lost the red no-contact jersey today, back on the practice field. He tore an ACL a year ago. It has been a long road back. A lot of news out of Pittsburgh today in the secondary. First and foremost, the veteran DB, Jalen Ramsey. He's a safety, he's a corner, he's a star. Well, he's active again off the PUP list, so he is back. But, and this is the tricky one, Joey Porter Jr. is still on the PUP list, and Mike McCarthy admits that they are at an impasse. It's a back injury, reportedly. Allegedly, Porter would like a new contract. They're at an impasse over the contract. He was the 32nd overall pick 3 years ago, but that was a second-round pick, so he only has a 4-year deal. There is no fifth-year option. Just contract complication there. Joey Porter wants to get paid, as other corners like Devin Witherspoon and Denzel Ward have now been paid. All right, we're in the final countdown for the top 100. 10 a.m. Eastern Time every day. The next 9 days, we will reveal the final 10. Bucky Brooks, back with me. You get to pick any NFL player. There's like 3,000 of them. Who's going to be number 1 in 9 days?
Oh, this is easy. I mean, like the single season sack leader, Myles Garrett, is number 1. When you go and you look at any metric where we talked about last year, where look 23 sacks, doing it on a losing team where you don't have the opportunities that most pass rushers would have. If your team is playing from ahead, that speaks volumes about how he's been able to dominate the game. But then over the last 9 seasons, 8 of those, he's had at least double-digit sacks. He's a dominant player, continues to dominate. And now we're talking about going to LA, where he may have a chance to play with the GOAT, Aaron Donald. Yeah, this is number 1. This is an easy conversation.
All right, so here is how I describe Myles Garrett, and I'm with you, by the way. For my money, he is the greatest non-thrower of the football in the NFL right now. Does that work?
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's not a quarterback. He's not Josh Allen. He's not Lamar. He's not Mahomes.
I mean,
guys that don't throw the football, he's the best.
I mean, I've never seen anybody to be able to do the things that he's consistently able to do when everyone knows he's the number 1 pass rusher. They rarely play with the lead, but yet he's still able to get to the quarterback. It's kind of like Barry Bonds. Limited opportunities, but when he does get one and they throw a fat one over the pitch, he sends it out there.
All right, the difference is, unlike Barry Bonds, his hat fits.
Have you seen Barry slender now?
I meant back in the day.
Skinny Barry. Okay. Skinny Barry we're seeing.
Also back in the day, we used to do something called One More Thing. Just one more thing before we go. So let's do that. One more thing before we go. Tip of the cap to the great Nick Chubb, one of my favorite people who retired on Friday. He retired in the same way he played. He handed the football back to the referee. Nick Chubb retired with a very quiet, very understated Instagram post at 8 o'clock on Friday night. There was no video, right? There was no music. There was no dancing.
No.
There was no pose in a studio. There was just something he wrote on IG. He typed it out, he hit send, and then he went to play golf with Sony Michel today. That's Nick Chubb.
That is Nick Chubb, and how about Nick Chubb being the last of those great Georgia backs? You have Todd Gurley, Sony Michel, and now Nick Chubb. 3 great running backs who all retired before they were 30.
My favorite Nick Chubb story years ago, the Browns mic'd him up for in-house content, like, hey, we're going to mic up Nick Chubb today. He didn't say a word. Not a word. Until like a minute was left and they're going to take a knee. And then he said, hey, we won. That's Nick Chubb. He handed the football back to the referee every single time he got in the end zone, and that is how he retired. By the way, we now hand it back to you. We thank you for watching. We're going to take a knee, but we're here every single day, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. It is the NFL Report on the NFL Channel. We will see you tomorrow.